Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Pastor Chris here, and welcome to another poolside chat. Um, I mentioned last week we're going to start a series, and it's the tools that Satan uses to attack Christians. Several weeks ago, someone asked, "Can Satan possess a Christian?" Short answer is no, but he can certainly attack Christians. And we actually looked in Ephesians. It says, our fight is not against flesh and blood, against principality, against powers in high places, against evil. And so there's definitely a fight. There's definitely a battle. And what are these tools that Satan uses? Sun Tzu wrote a book, ancient Chinese warrior, philosopher. He wrote a book called The Art of War, used today. One of his premises, one of his dictums is know thy enemy. If we know our enemy, we can fight against him. So this is to kind of know who Satan, the tools that he uses to attack us. And the first one, there's several, but the first one to go over today is fear. Fear is one that he uses. And there's a saying, when you're afraid, it stimulates this fight or flight response. Either you're ready to fight back or you're ready to run. Recently, I've heard it, there are 4 things we do: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Freeze is easy. We got fight, we got flight, we got freeze, we're stuck. We don't run, we don't fight, we're just stuck. Fawn is like a deer fawn. What does a baby deer do? It gets down, it hides in the grass, it tries to become invisible so that a predator doesn't see. So we can hide. Fight, flight, fear, or fawn. But as a Christian, remember, and actually it's interesting, in Deuteronomy 31, verse 6 and 7 struck me when I was studying this. 6 is Moses saying his time is over. They're in the land of Canaan, they're about ready to enter. And he tells the people of Israel, he says, do not be afraid. Be courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And then verse 7 is also interesting, which I hadn't noticed before. Then he turns to Joshua, and he says, as he leads the people, he passes on a mantle. Do not be afraid. Be courageous, because the Lord your God is with you. He'll lead you. And it sounds very simple, but sometimes I think it is that simple. See, fear can be debilitating. Fear can cause us to lose trust in God. Fear can cause us to take our eyes off of God and really look into ourselves. I can do this. I can stand up. And sometimes we forget God. And when we do that, it makes the fear worse, because there's no backing. There's no resting in his arms. There's no looking behind you where God says all I have to do is stand. Let him fight. So what I would say, there's a lot of verses that talk about fear. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you. Do not be afraid. Do not fear. And it's just, I think we need to be reminded that God's got this battle, and we don't have to fear, because fear can take our eyes off of God and take us away from God to look into ourselves and the strong people around us. Not to say we don't use strength, absolutely. But remember who gives you that strength. Remember who provides it, God. So as we go through these techniques, these tools that Satan has, I'm just going to remind us what he does. And I base it on Sun Tzu, know thy enemy. Because I want you to know what Satan has. I want you to know how Satan uses it so that we can be prepared as we look to God and say, God, man, I'm scared, but I know you got this. So this is what we're going to kind of look at. And let me leave it there. There's so many stories and examples I want to share. But let me leave it there. And I want to leave you too with a definition. As we talk about fear, you talk about fear and courage. Somebody, I don't remember who said this, but I heard it said once, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being so scared you can't move and taking one step forward anyway. And I think we can do that when we remember that God himself and the armies of heaven, they have our back. All right, guys, thanks for joining today. We're going to be doing this for several weeks. There are a lot of tools that Satan uses, and I just want you to be aware of these. Let me leave it there. I won't tell you what I'm going to do next week. I'll keep it a surprise. Think on this. Think on what I said. Let me know your thoughts. And remember, let your friends know. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble at FL Compass Church. Write us. Let us know your thoughts. Keep the questions coming. And remember, tomorrow's Sunday, so go to church. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Wednesday.